Endurance Junkie Podcast, episode 120. Brought to you by Precision Hydration, who offer electrolyte drinks in different strengths to match how you sweat. Personalize your hydration strategy today at precisionhydration.com and get your first box or tube of pH for free by using the code JUNKIE on their website. Hey junkies, how are you doing? My name is Peter, and thanks for joining me on a new episode of the Endurance Junkie Podcast, the show where I will be interviewing some of the fastest, smartest, and most inspiring people active in the endurance world today. Now before we get going, I would quickly like to thank Precision Hydration for supporting the show. Now if you want to understand why Precision Hydration exists and why it's important to personalize your hydration strategy, I suggest you do two things. First of all, listen to my interview with their founder, Andy Blow, in episode 115. And secondly, take their free online sweat test at precisionhydration.com to get personalized hydration advice for your next race. I really suggest you go and check it out. It can be crucial to your performance. Now, Flora Duffy is on track to become one of the greatest triathletes of all time. Not only is she a two-time ITU World Triathlon Series champion, she also has 4 Xterra World titles, 2 ITU Cross Triathlon World titles, and a couple of weeks ago she added the Commonwealth Gold Medal to that list. Seems like the only thing missing is an Olympic title, but Tokyo 2020 is not that far off. So hi Flora, thanks for coming on the show. Now for those of us who don't know you, can you start off by telling us a bit about yourself, your sporting background growing up, and how you ended up in triathlon?
Okay, so hi, I'm Flora Duffy, and I'm a professional triathlete. I race both on the ITU circuit, and I race a little bit of Xterra. And as you mentioned, I was born and raised in Bermuda, and now I sort of base myself between Boulder, Colorado, Stellenbosch, South Africa, and Bermuda. And I got into triathlon at a really early age. So I'm one of the few, I think, that's done it like my whole life. When I was 7 or 8, I did my first triathlon in Bermuda. They had a local kids triathlon on, and I loved running, and I was in a swim club, so I thought, why not? And sort of from that moment on, I was hooked with the sport, and I joined a little local triathlon club, made friends, and that's just sort of what I did. I mean, obviously, I was part of a swim club, and I did every running race I could. So I was just a very active, sporty kid growing up, and always have just loved triathlon.
So what's the tri scene like then on a small island like Bermuda, or the sporting culture in general? A lot of things to do for kids?
Yeah, for kids especially, there's loads of sports to do. It's a really good sporting culture on the island. I mean, obviously with our climate, it's suited to do sport all year round. Mm-hmm. So there's swim clubs, running clubs, kids soccer, kids cricket. I think there's like every kids club sport available. Obviously there's triathlon. I only was involved in sort of the swimming and the running and the triathlon clubs growing up, and I don't have kids, so I can't tell you everything that's available. But no, it's a really there's plenty for kids to do, be outdoors. And then in terms of the triathlon community, it's small, but there's a lot of really passionate members, and there's local races held throughout the summer, sort of starts in the springtime, all the way through until November. And every time there's an adult race, there's always a kids race. We get a really great turnout. And I think, we're having WTS Bermuda next week. And so the fact that we can host a World Triathlon Series race, I think sort of shows that triathlon is pretty popular in Bermuda.
Yeah, I guess, you need that backing from some good people who keep organizing these events, because otherwise you'll quickly be you'll need to travel abroad if you want to do some different races.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So can you talk a bit about your progression in the sport then? I mean, you've done it your whole life, but when did you sort of realize, I'm pretty good at this. I'm relatively fast. I can make it to the elite level.
I don't. Yeah, I think I always wanted to race professionally, and be successful, but I probably didn't realize I could do it until I did do it, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. I think it always just seems like such a lofty goal, and you go into these races, when you're not that experienced and just think, my gosh, how am I ever going to race up there with the top girls? And slowly but surely you chip away, stay consistent, just work hard, and you get little breaks here and there, and just sort of capitalizing on those got me to where I am today. But sort of, I guess, at the round of age of 16 or 18, I really decided I wanted to pursue triathlon, and I had my first, I guess, professional or elite level race at the 2006 Commonwealth Games in Melbourne, Australia. I was 18. That went really well, and then later that year I was second at Junior Worlds and had a few World Cup top tens in that year. So sort of definitely then I thought, okay, I can do this. But then, quickly I fell off and really struggled being at that level, and all that comes with it. So it was like a little glimpse of, okay, I can do this. And it only was, in 2000 and sort of 15, I found my feet again. And then 2016, winning the WTS world title was when I was like, okay, like I can do this. I can make this my profession, and make money and have good sponsors, and can try and make this work. So it's been a really long journey with lots of ups and downs, but it's professional sport, so of course it's not going to be smooth sailing.
So yeah, where did that competitiveness come from? I mean, if you got that's early success, at the juniors and the Commonwealth Games at 16 or 18 years old, I guess you were still based in Bermuda at the time, so racing that same course and the same people all over. What keeps you? What gives you that drive to keep improving and keep progressing and putting in the hard work?
That sort of evolved over the years. I guess at first it's because it's your big goal, it's your big dream that you always have wanted to do and to achieve. So you keep working towards it, and you're just super motivated. And I guess, of course, winning is nice. So that's always sort of the carrot dangling out there. And I suppose in a certain level, you kind of want to prove to yourself that you can do this. So that sort of, kept me going. And then I guess now it's different because, I have achieved a lot of the goals that I've always set out to do. And so now it's about, trying to execute races in a different way, or or execute a perfect race. And of course, for me, I'm still would love to have a good Olympics. So obviously being in, Tokyo, that keeps me pretty motivated. But I guess also the fact that I realize I have, my success has given me this platform to help inspire, in particular, young Bermudians to pursue their sporting goals.
Mm-hmm.
So that also really keeps me motivated and helps me have a fuller, I don't know, fuller feeling. That doesn't make sense. It's really bad English, but just, it makes you just feel better about, what you're doing, and that it has more of an impact than you perhaps realize.
Yeah, no, that must be an amazing feeling. Of course, you mentioned W2S and winning the series there and wanting to do well at the Olympics. But your first real success came in Xterra, where you became world champion a couple of times. Where did that love come from? And how did the mountain biking go for you?
Yeah, that's actually really good to remember that my big first break did come in 2014, winning Xterra World Championships, which at the time felt like the biggest thing I could ever do. And it was an incredible moment for me. So I got into mountain biking in college, actually. When I went to the University of Colorado here in Boulder, and I was on the cycling team for the road season. And I thought, okay, well, why don't I do the mountain bike season? Some of my friends were doing it just for fun. And I just sort of picked it up. I was actually really bad. So I occasionally bump into people that were on the team with me, and they're like, how are you Xterra world champion? It just shows you hard work and a bit of dedication to your skills can pay off. So I was sort of floating around doing a bit of that, but really in 2013, I started to race a bit more Xterra. I was taking a break from the road scene, just not really into it. But that's when I met my now husband, Dan Hugo.
Mm-hmm.
He raced on the Xterra circuit, and so kind of if I wanted to hang out with him, I needed to learn Xterra.
Oh, okay.
So that was a big motivation to race Xterra. Obviously, he taught me pretty much everything I know. And of course, it was just really fun doing something different and exploring new places and a whole different style of racing. So yeah, that was really great and a great platform that sort of springboarded me back into the road scene a couple years later.
Do you think that, stuff that you learned from racing Xterra that made you stronger on the ITU circuit?
Yeah, I think sort of some of the mountain biking definitely made me a little bit stronger. But to be honest, a lot of it was just getting my confidence back in myself and my abilities as a triathlete that I was able to then take over to the ITU scene.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, I guess that mountain biking definitely improved a lot, because I think at the recent Commonwealth Games you were also selected to race the mountain bike there. But in the end you didn't race. Why was that?
Yeah, so I was selected to race, and in the end I decided not to for a few reasons. I guess, as WTS Bermuda is a pretty important race to me, and I just felt it was a little bit risky to do a pretty technical, hard mountain bike course 2 weeks prior. And, of course, there's risk both sides. I crashed in Abu Dhabi and hurt myself, and you can crash on a mountain bike and hurt yourself more or less on either road or mountain. But I just felt that because triathlon is my profession, I didn't want to do anything that would possibly risk me not being able to start WTS Bermuda in full fitness, full health. Yeah. So it was kind of frustrating and pretty disappointing, but at the end of the day, I went to Commonwealth to win a gold in the triathlon, and I did. So it was still a great experience. Yeah,
it makes sense. And I guess racing just a mountain bike race is completely different than racing the bike leg, the mountain bike leg of an Xterra race. So I guess it's
the courses are a lot more technical, and obviously racing
a lot more people around you, and
and the girls are really strong and really good technically, so then that pushes me a bit more out of my comfort zones, and the courses are just way more technical than at Xterra. So
okay. So Xterra, we had that. You're multiple world champion. You went back to the road then, the WTS series. Battling Gwen and stuff like that. How did that go for you?
Well, I don't know if I was much of a battle companion for her. I think she beat me most times that we lined up together. But I did get one time over her. If you bring real hot and humid conditions, and it's after the Olympics, I could somehow get it done. Yeah. But Gwen was a phenomenal triathlete, and I think she came in, changed the scene, raised the bar, and we all had to try and figure out, well, how can we beat her? And so that helped me develop my swim bike style, and then running solidly off of that. So it's a shame that she has moved on to running, because it would have been great to race against her again. But at the same time, she's gone on to pretty exciting things to be doing, just running, and she has her baby Stanley. So it's exciting, and now it gives more opportunity for other women to come up and get into this challenge at that level.
But you're definitely one that has the eye on the back. I mean, you've been dominating the sport now for 2 years. How does that feel like, to be everybody racing off of you?
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, I guess I try not to think about it, but I suppose if I do, it's a little strange and a little surreal. Because I just think I'm just Flora. I'm just doing swim, bike, run, training day in, day out. But then I guess you realize that people, are looking to you because you are racing, you are, the current world champion. So yeah, it's a little strange, but I guess you just have to take that pressure as a privilege. And it's a privileged position to be in, to be the world champion. So just to remember and to take in all the good that comes with it, and just try to manage any of the extra expectations that come along with being world champion.
Yeah, because I guess every race that you do, I mean, you're the sky high favorite. I guess going into the Commonwealth Games was the same thing. We saw it on the men's sides. I think they had the Brownlees came in as red hot favorites. Turned out a bit different, and Henry Schoeman got the gold there. You managed to grab that gold. How important was that for yourself to win that Commonwealth gold, and even for the island of Bermuda?
Yeah, thank you. It was a really special day for me, and a really big moment for Bermuda. It was our first time a female had won a medal at the Games. And it was also cool because it was the first gold medal awarded at this year's Commonwealth Games. So It was a pretty big moment. It got a lot of exposure, which was cool. But yeah, for me going into the race, of course, it was pretty big pressure. I think a Games situation, they're always different from, any other races, because they once every 4 years. People really target them and prepare diligently for them because it's a one-off. And sure, as you sort of saw in the men's, Henry won. He wasn't one of the big favorites. He definitely was one of the potential people to be on the podium. So, something like that can happen where the big favorite didn't win. It almost makes it even harder going into those races as the favorite. But I was very happy that I could come away with the gold and tick a big goal off on my list of things I'd like to achieve.
Yeah, were you able to party a bit on the Gold Coast, or was it straight back to business afterwards and preparation for Bermuda WTS?
Yeah, I mean, there was no partying. It was pretty much straight back to business, into some training, but obviously a bit more relaxed because I just needed a week of just training, but in a relaxed manner, if that makes sense. Just because it was quite a big build into the Games. But with WTS Bermuda around the corner, there wasn't really much chance to just fully let loose. And it was pretty much my first race of this season, so have a lot more to come. So I can't quite just sit down and relax quite yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I saw that. The season opener in Abu Dhabi that didn't go too well for you. Really rainy conditions. You had a pretty good swim, but then crashed on the bike early on. Just some road rash, nothing major, I guess, right?
No, I was very lucky, and I just had road rash all down my left side, which actually I haven't had road rash in a while. It's a lot more painful than I remembered. So it was like a painful week, and then it cleared up. But yeah, I was one of the lucky ones. Some girls went down a bit harder than I did. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing to start the season off that way. I was feeling really good. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but there's plenty of races to come, and now it's just about playing catch up in one or two, hopefully get some good results, and then you're sort of right back in there with a decent ranking, and try and move up to the top spot.
I think you did some intervals in your hotel room the same on race day there in Abu Dhabi, just to get your workout in.
I did. I was very frustrated, so I had to get rid of some of my emotions. So we did 6x1K on the treadmill, because I'd rested for the race, and I was expecting to swim, bike, and run hard, and I didn't. I only swam hard, so I had to do something. So yeah, I did that, which helped a little bit. Turn a frustrating moment into a little bit of a positive.
So how important is it to have a good team around you in moments like that to help you master the disappointment, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important just to have a good team around you, whether it's going good or bad. I'm lucky that my husband, Dan, comes to all the races with me now, and he's very involved with my training and racing. He does have a he has a couple startups, so he's a couple full-time jobs as well. But I managed to balance that with coming to the races with me. And yeah, of course, I mean, I was devastated when I crashed and absolutely like, super upset. But having someone like that to just talk it through and realize, okay, you didn't break anything, your bike's fine. You can still go out and do a run later that evening. It's not the end of the world. It's the first race of the season. Just sort of forget about it and move on. So yeah, it's really nice to have, a good team of people. It's very much needed.
Okay. So yeah, besides Dan, what do you have? Or who's traveling with you? Coaches or physios and stuff like that?
No, I mean, I'm from Bermuda. We're here. We don't really have. Well, we don't have like a high performance director or like a team of people dedicated to going to WTS races like bigger federations like Great Britain or the US. So it's just me and Dan.
Okay.
But no, I'm lucky with Specialized is one of my main sponsors, and they send a mechanic to every race. So that is a huge help. So, and I don't think you don't really need too much. I have Dan there, who's my husband, and then Sandy, the mechanic from Specialized. He takes care of my bike, handles any issues, which is great and really comforting to know that he's there. And that's kind of all I really need.
Okay, that's good. It seems to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, W2S Bermuda next week. What's the goals beyond that? Are you still going to be racing some Xterras this season, or is it mainly WTS at the moment?
Yeah, my focus for this year is mostly WTS, with the goal of trying to defend my world title from last year. I'll still do Xterra Worlds later this year, but it's just really difficult to fit any more of them in between racing on the WTS circuit and any other race. I kind of would prefer to maybe squeeze a 70.3 in versus an Xterra. Okay. So I'm going to look at the calendar and see if I can make that work. But yeah, that's pretty much the year is, focused on ITU stuff.
Yeah. And beyond that, I guess it's all about Tokyo 2020. If I'm not mistaken, that's the one thing that seems to be missing from your list.
It is, yeah. So Tokyo is the big goal, and sort of everything is geared towards that. So yeah, for the next, it's actually really not that far away.
It's not that far, no.
Great. That's over the next couple of years. That's the big goal and focus, and then after that, we'll just have to see, see how I'm feeling, see how the racing's going. But yeah, I think in between sort of now and Tokyo, I will sort of inject a few different races just to keep it a bit more interesting and not super ITU focused, because at the same time I need to be fresh and mentally ready to go in 2020. And so, changing it up a little bit will definitely help.
Yeah. And beyond 2020, any plans there maybe to go longer distance, or didn't you think of that yet?
Yeah, no, I have thought about that a little bit. I can't say Ironman has really interested me yet, but people keep telling me it will. But it doesn't at all. But I'm definitely interested in racing some 70.3. So I think post-Tokyo, I would switch over to, so long course. I don't know about Ironman per se, but definitely some 70.3 racing.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, best of luck in the next couple of years then. And then, here's to that gold medal in Tokyo.
Well, thanks.
What do you see? I mean, you've had some major world titles, but what do you see as your biggest achievement in your career so far, and what do you see as your biggest disappointment?
Oh wow, let me think. My biggest achievement, probably winning, I guess, the WTS overall, the world title in 2016. Because I think for me that had always been such like a ultimate goal that I wanted to do, and never really thought it was possible. And then suddenly found myself in that sort of position. And yeah, it was just a really special moment for me. So that's definitely a big highlight. Biggest disappointment, probably in around 2008 at the Olympics in Beijing. I DNF'd, and I was just, yeah, after that, I just didn't race for a couple years. I just needed a break. So that's, but at the same time, that was also a big positive thing to do, to take a break and step away.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
From the sport.
Yeah, you got an 8th, I think, in 2016 at the Rio Games. So what were your expectations there at the moment? Were you thinking of getting close to the podium?
Yeah, that was interesting, the Rio Olympics, because at the start of the year, I laid out my goals and I said if I could come anywhere from 6th to 10th at the Rio Olympics, I'll be super happy.
Okay.
But then as the year went on, I suddenly found myself ranked number 1 in the world, had just won my first WTS race, and suddenly thrown into the like medal contenders list.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was like I wasn't quite, ready for all of that. Because, obviously once your name gets thrown around in a potential medalist, it's a whole load of extra pressure and everything that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was definitely a lot to handle. But I also did believe that, yes, given if the race played out a certain way, yes, I could be in the top 5, potentially getting a medal. But okay, and then I went into the race and didn't have my best race. I was pretty disappointed. Not necessarily with 8th place, but the way I executed my race was disappointing. So it was a bit of a weird one, that race, and that whole experience for me.
Yeah, but I guess you were able to take quite a lot from that race. That's going to help you in Tokyo, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. What would constitute a perfect day for you at this moment, like a perfect training day and relaxing day?
Oh gosh, perfect. Well, perfect training day and perfect relaxing day.
Everything combined. What's your perfect day?
Okay, well, I guess I'll include some training into it.
Yeah.
So it would probably be, that's a hard one. Maybe the day would start with like a nice run session, nice run session. And then it would be sort of a long mountain bike ride. Stop in town for this place, Cured in Boulder, has my favorite sandwiches. And they have a great coffee place in there as well. So it would be stop there, get lunch. And then, I don't know if I could include swimming on my perfect training day, but maybe we'd go and do an easy swim. And then we'd head to this restaurant, Black Belly, which has my favorite burgers in town. And we'd have a burger for dinner. So that would be a good day, combining some training with some of my favorite food places.
That sounds like a pretty good day. And what strikes me is that you did mention a mountain bike ride, not just a road bike ride. So there's still that deeper love for mountain biking?
I don't know if there's a deeper love, but I think for mountain biking, it's just
been more fun.
More fun, yes, definitely more fun.
Yeah, I guess in Boulder, I mean. Yeah,
and you get away from the roads and the cars, and you're just way out there in the middle of nowhere, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's not a bad place, I guess. different from here. It's not much mountain biking opportunities here, but we can't have it all.
No.
All right. Thanks for your time, Flora. It's been much appreciated. How can people get in touch with you if they want to?
Yeah, absolutely. From either my Instagram, which is just at Flora Duffy, or Twitter, which is also at Flora Duffy. Those are probably the best ways to reach me.
All right, cool. I'll put those links up on the show notes pages. Feel free to give some love to your sponsors and your partners.
Okay, I'll just give a big thanks to, one of my newest sponsors, Specialized. It's been great to be on board their bikes this year. The Bermuda Tourism Association, they're one of my big sponsors, and look forward to racing WTS Bermuda next week. Of course, Oakley and Roca, for kitting me out keeping me looking cool.
Cool. I'll put those links up as well.
Yeah.
One final
I
question.
Don't forget anybody.
No, definitely not. One final question to finish it off here today. If you could sit on a bench, you can even choose Boulder or Bermuda or Stellenbosch, and you could sit on a bench for an hour and talk with anyone from the past or the present. Who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh, this is a deep question.
That's a deep question, yeah. I just throw it in at the end just to catch everybody off balance.
If I could talk to anybody from my past or present for an hour, who would I talk to? Oh my goodness. I would speak to... Oh my gosh. I have no idea. Can it be like a celebrity or a famous
of course,
person?
Yeah, sure. Somebody who inspired you or,
I would probably speak to... I don't know, maybe someone like Oprah or something.
Okay, that's interesting.
I have no idea. I don't know. She seems like such a well-accomplished lady.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's true. All right, Oprah
I don't
is.
know. I feel like my or no, maybe I'm gonna change this. We can change this. I would sit down and talk to Serena Williams.
Okay, why?
Because she's a female athlete that's just really inspiring. The longevity of her career and what she's had to deal with, and what she's created herself into. Yeah, it's very inspiring.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's maybe a possibility. I mean, she's still around. She's traveling the globe. Maybe you can bump into each other and have a chat.
Yeah, convince her to talk to me for an hour. Yeah.
I guess world champions amongst each other. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, Flora. Much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, Junkies, you've reached the end of yet another episode of the Endurance Junkie podcast. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Flora Duffy for coming on. Now, this show was brought to you by Precision Hydration. Don't forget to take their free online sweat tests at precisionhydration.com to get personalized hydration advice for your next race. And use code JUNKIE on their website to get your first box or tube of pH for free. The only thing you have to pay for is postage. Now, every listen means so much to me, so if you like this interview and think someone else would too, feel free to share it on your own social media channels. That would be awesome and very much appreciated. And if you have suggestions for possible future guests, just shoot me an email at peter@junkiepodcast.com and I'll try to make it happen. Alright, thanks again, and I hope you'll join me next time. Cheers.